Hey, good day everybody. Okay, so these slides are going to be short. They're going to be week 7 slides. You guys have a quiz next week on you have your quiz 2 next week. Everything from I believe it's week 4 to week 7. So we'll get into this quickly. So what's corporate philanthropy? So philanthropy, basically the term philanthropy means doing something for the community, something good for the community. Um, that doesn't involve it doesn't involve like getting profits or doing something to get paid for profits. Philanthropy is basically you're doing something out of your own goodwill, right? So in this situation, a corporate philanthropy is the act of a corporation or business promoting the welfare of others, generally through charitable donations of funds or time. So for example, I think we spoke about it before. Microsoft is a big, huge company, and Bill Gates is worth billions. Him and his wife, they come together and they have the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, where uh, they help countries and they help people who need help, right? So, for example, one of the things that they were doing was they were installing um, equipment in Africa that turns sewage water and fecal matter, which is your poop, into actual drinking water. So very nasty, very disgusting, but that's what they're doing in Africa, and they're not charging anybody any money to do it, right? They're doing it by themselves with all the money they've made. They're doing it as a charity to help these countries and help these people. So basically, corporate philanthropy helps support communities where companies are based. It supports corporate giving programs, which essentially lead to free money for nonprofits, right? So if you're a nonprofit company, you're always looking for donations and charity and stuff like that. So these corporate philanthropy is when these companies who make a lot of money or they make profits, they end up giving their money away to non-for-profits. Corporate philanthropy helps nonprofits through various methods of support, such as corporate matching gift programs and volunteer grants. The impact of donations and volunteering for nonprofits can be drastically increased with the help of corporate programs. Corporate philanthropy fosters employee engagement and generates business value. Okay, so corporate philanthropy, it's good for a corporation, it's good for a company because it builds a good positive image for the company, and also it helps to engage your employees and make when you engage your employees, you make them happier, right? So when businesses participate in corporate philanthropy, they are creating a positive public image for themselves, enhancing their relationships with consumers, and creating a positive work environment. While they may seem similar, corporate social responsibility describes the overall attitude of an organization towards society at large, while corporate philanthropy is a narrower form of corporate social responsibility. Okay, so corporate philanthropy falls under corporate social responsibility. CSR, like we talked about, is your attitudes within the organization, within the community, and corporate philanthropy is one of the aspects of corporate social responsibility. Hello. Hey. Okay, so corporate volunteerism, also called employee volunteering, is a simple and effective way for businesses to contribute to the community. Companies give their employees an allowance of paid time off annually, which they use to volunteer at a charity of their choice. Okay, this enables staff to make a difference in as little as an afternoon and has huge impact on communities. So, for example, let's say a company like, let's say a flower shop, uh, the flower shop in your local city, they have a bunch of people working there. Let's say they have like the 50 people working at that big flower warehouse. What they do is in corporate volunteerism or employee volunteering, it's a program that the flower store puts together in order to have their people, their workers go out and volunteer. So it's not something that the workers do by themselves. They actually get paid to go and do these volunteering programs, right? So they get the time off to go do these volunteering programs, but they don't do it. They d- they don't do it. It's not like they're on vacation or something. They're actually going out and working. Okay, so it's not. It's also worth pointing out what isn't employee volunteering. Okay, so this is pretty important. So employees in general, they probably take part in loads of charitable activities already, from sponsored rides, bike rides, runs, to volunteering in their spare time. So an employee already, let's just say, already does volunteering. Like they do a bunch of stuff, like they work at the shelter, they do runs, they do rides, all this volunteering. That's great, but it's not employee volunteering. Employee volunteering must be a structured company policy. It has to be a structured company policy that not only supports its employees' own efforts, but gives them the time and opportunities to do so. So basically what it is it's a company policy. It's not something that people do outside of the work, or the company doesn't acknowledge it. You have to have that program in place in order for it to be employee volunteering. So what's the effect of corporate philanthropy and volunteerism? So what are some effects on employees, like we talked about, right? Employees feel happy, and they feel a sense of, oh, what's going on here? There you go. They feel a sense of reward and happiness, right, for helping out and being able to give back, gratitude, and a sense of hope for the community. What's the effect on the employer? Like we talked about, it's excellent for public image, right? If you're a company, a local company, more people are going to come see you because you're someone who gives back, right? And its positive perception leads to more sales. Positive perception also attracts more talent. So if you're a good company and you're doing good things for society, for your community, the community acknowledges that, and the people around, the ones who have talent, want to work at your company. Effect on community. What's the effect that corporate philanthropy and volunteerism has on the community? As we all know, community gets help with their projects without having to spend money on labor, right? They get to save money. Community grows with the help of businesses and employees from other companies. Okay, so those are the effects on employees, employer, and the community. Okay, corporate social responsibility trends in 2020, 2021 moving forward. What are some of the trends that we've been seeing in terms of corporate social responsibility? So number one is searching for the truth. A lot is happening. A lot is being invested into third parties coming in and making sure that all the numbers, all the documents, everything about the company is true and is not false. Like, there's always fake news and fake advertising and stuff like that. So a lot of money is being spent on third party audits to come in and do to look for the actual truth and not what someone is trying to make up in order to lie or gain profits by false advertising. Number two is achieving carbon neutrality. You guys, we see this all the time, right? We see companies who are trying to go to zero emissions, zero carbon emissions. It's a huge trend. Um, the environment, taking care of the environment is a huge trend now, right? So use of more renewable energy to power companies, right? Number three, standing with employees. Now top level managers are more involved in taking care of employees' concerns instead of demanding employees to go do this and do that and stuff. They're taking a different approach and taking care of employee. Okay, baby. I'm sorry. Here, sorry, guys. And taking care of employee concerns and what them basically putting the employee more giving more importance to the employee than they usually would in the past. Um, Pursuing purpose over passion. Now, a company like Tesla, right? Um, you basically what they're trying to tell you is stop trying to go after your passion. Okay? Go after a purpose. Make that purpose your passion. So a company like Tesla, what they're doing is they're trying to increase and enhance uh, the chance and the likeliness of um, non-renewable resources. So the chance and likeliness of sustaining life after all our non-renewable resources are depleted, such as gasoline, natural gas, um, all the things that we're using right now that are that we know one day is just gonna fade away. So Tesla and all these companies are doing their best to try and that's their purpose, to try and keep life going after these non-renewable resources are depleted. So looking for purpose over passion. So companies are looking to strive to do things to get places instead of following their passion. So looking for the next big thing. And lastly, that's one of the fifth one for corporate. The fifth trend for corporate social responsibility is basically companies are heavily focused on finding a better way to be more efficient in the four trends above. So they're always looking for the next big thing that's going to help them with their purpose. Is going to help them with keeping, making sure their employees are happy, achieving carbon neutrality, and searching for the truth. So they're always looking for the next big thing. Okay, social enterprise. A social enterprise or social business is defined as a business that has a specific social objective that serves its primary purpose. Social enterprises seek to maximize profits while maximizing benefits to society and the environment. So, if you look at a typical corporation, a typical enterprise, all they want to do is just maximize profits for their shareholders. Okay? Their shareholders and their stakeholders. A social enterprise does the same thing, but at the same time, they're also doing something good. Okay? They're also giving back at the same time. It goes hand in hand. The more money they make, the more they give back. So for example, there's a company called Tom's Shoes. Every time a shoe is bought, they give a shoe to children in developing countries. So there's so many children in developing countries that don't have shoes, don't have the right size shoes, and they're running around, and it's very dangerous. They get diseases and stuff like that because of their feet get cut, and they get infected, stuff like that. So Tom said for every shoe that they sell, they will give one shoe to people over in developing countries, and to date they've given over 50 million pairs of new shoes. So that's amazing. 50 million pairs, which means they probably sold over 50 million shoes. Social entrepreneurship. Social enterprise and social entrepreneurship are not the same. So a social entrepreneur is someone who recognizes a social problem and uses entrepreneurial principles to organize, create, and manage a venture to make social change. Okay? So basically, social entrepreneurship is somebody um, when someone sees a problem and they say, you know what, let me use my business skills in order to solve this problem. So an example is 15. Um, okay, actually, let's talk about this. Whereas a business entrepreneur typically measures performance and profit in return, a social entrepreneur focuses on creating social capital. Thus, the main aim of social entrepreneurship is to further social and environmental goals. Very important. So, example is 15, founded by English celebrity chef Jamie Oliver. Jamie Oliver is he's a celebrity chef. I used to watch him when we were young. My mom and my sister used to love him. And really nice chef. Like he's really good guy. He used to have cooking shows and stuff. He has a restaurant at Yorkdale called Jamie Oliver, um, which is not that good, to be honest. I went there once and it was disgusting. But he's a good guy himself in general. He's a good guy. So basically what he did was um, he, as you can read here, 15 started out as an ambitious effort to offer disadvantaged youths aged 18 to 24 a means of creating better futures for themselves through the art of good food. The restaurant initiative was named for the 15 young people who originally entered apprenticeships under this program. Since the first establishment opened, 15 has delivered delicious Italian food to patrons and opened 2 other restaurants in Amsterdam and Cornwall, trained 220 young locals in cooking and hospitality, and reinforced the value of local produce and cooking techniques. Social entrepreneurship, social enterprise, social entrepreneurship. Two different things. What's the difference? A social enterprise is not to be confused with social entrepreneurship. Social entrepreneurship tends to focus on individuals who develop solutions to social and environmental problems using existing business techniques and strategies. Social entrepreneurs seek innovative ways to operate and operate to drive change, whereas social enterprises form to fulfill a business purpose and solve societal needs through their commercial activities. Okay, very simple stuff, guys. Don't get it confused. So what are some tips for small businesses and corporate social responsibility? So if you're a small business and you want to have a positive image and you want your corporate social responsibility image to be high, what you would focus on is focus on needs close to home. So if you're a small business and you want to do some sort of philanthropy or you want to give back, focus on stuff that is on issues that are within your community, that are close to your home. So for example, if there's homeless people living around your community, try and help those homeless people. Try to give them some shelter. Um, if there's people lack of food, um, you have a food bank. You can start up a food bank, right? Stuff like that. Local leadership collaboration, another tip to increase your corporate social responsibility. Basically, you can work with other leaders in your community, right? Other business owners, other people who make a ton of money and who are also looking to give back. You work together instead of going at it by yourself. You can work on it together to tackle issues. And then finally, putting people ahead of politics. So never let politics get in between the betterment of the people. We see this all the time, guys, right? We see politics all the time. People get voted into politics because they think that that person is going to help them, and then they end up just playing the politics game and forget about the people all in all, right? It's all the same shit happens all the time, and we see this stuff happen all the time. That's why politics to me is a big joke, but that's just my opinion on it. But basically, these are the 3 tips. If you're a small business and you want to improve your corporate social responsibility and your image, this is what you would do. Okay? And that's it, guys. And the slides, your quiz is next week. Make sure you guys study these slides and take them in because your quiz is going to be on everything from week 4 to week 7. All right, guys. Thanks. See ya.